New York taxpayers who are working every day, they're getting up early, they're going to the job, they're putting up with possibly obnoxious coworkers or bosses, but because they believe in making self-sufficiency, that they're not going to be leeches on the system, they're really screwed because a judge, thanks to Legal Aid Society lawsuit, has held that we are obligated to provide shelter to everyone on demand. Okay, so we'll just cast aside whether that's just or not. Let's take that as a given. The rule should be if we have to provide you shelter on demand, whether you're a single mother that gets a subsidized private apartment with your own cooking and bathroom facilities, or you're in a congregate shelter as a childless adult, the rule should be you got to use it. If we're going to be paying billions of dollars a year to provide this shelter, you don't get to stay on the streets. It's one or the other. But in fact, they do get to stay on the streets. They do not accept housing. You know, we've lived with this lie for now, what is it, 40 years since the 1990s. It was completely blown out of the water by some early sociologists, the idea that homelessness is a housing problem. No, it's not. It's a problem of mental illness, drug abuse, and what some early researchers call disaffiliation. That means you've broken your social ties, those social ties that may allow you to shack up with your mother or sister. You're so obnoxious, you're so involved in your own addictions that people say, I can't take you any longer. So you don't have that social safety net. But nevertheless, so it's not about housing. These people are offered housing numerous times. Homelessness, vagrancy, I don't even like to use the phrase homelessness, but sometimes it just comes ready to hand. It's a lifestyle choice. I've written on Skid Row in Los Angeles, which is the biggest hell on earth. There's no vista that you've ever seen like it unless you've actually seen Skid Row, of block after block of human degradation beyond belief. But people come from across the country to be in Skid Row because they know they can party without interference. They run prostitution rings out of their cardboards. This is a choice. And if you allow certain people to make that choice, they will, whether they're capable of making it or not. But frankly, you do not get to colonize public space. We used to understand this. You know, for centuries, people understood this. We had Skid Rows, cheap cage housing, SRO, single room occupancy hotels, and the police did something that now you're not allowed to talk about. They moved people along. If you say you don't get to stay here, people make other arrangements. And now the government believes that its only duty is to the dysfunctional and the antisocial. It owes nothing to the law-abiding, the hardworking, the tax-paying. They're simply supposed to put up with crime and squalor and feel lucky to be paying taxes to support this massive, feckless, totally incompetent social service industry.
This gets right to the befuddlement of many on the left and in the media as to the reaction that you and I and other sane people are having to this verdict. They don't understand why we're applauding Daniel Penny, because we've seen all the things that you just described. We object to this current system, which none of us voted for or okayed in any way. We miss the old days of there being law and order and of the law-abiding citizens being the ones who are protected and at the front of mind for police. Right. And yep. We're cheering a strong, brave man like Daniel Penny who fills the gap to keep us safe.